All right, so this is going to be part two of episode 33. So we're going to be moving on to our next topic. With wildcard weekend now behind us, I will explain which team looked the worst and which team looked the best during wildcard weekend. So I also want to address the fact that wildcard weekend was supposed to be way better than what we got. Realistically, the only good game that we seen during the weekend was the 49ers and Cowboys game. So making this list, it wasn't too easy. It was pretty easy, I should say. Not too easy. I mean, it wasn't too easy. It was easy to make this list. So I'm going to go with what team looked the worst. Yes, there was a lot of teams that got blown out. The Steelers got blown out. The Eagles got blown out. The Patriots got blown out. But you know what team that disappointed me the most and looked the absolute worst during the wildcard weekend? It was the Arizona Cardinals. What did I say several weeks ago when I did that solo segment on a solo episode? I said the Arizona Cardinals are not a great football team. I was never sold on them, even when they were 7-0 in the beginning of the season. I said, what did they do under Cliff Kingsbury? They always fold, and their expectations are always up here because of the quarterback under center and the great wide receiver they have on the outside running routes. Expectations are automatically up here when you have DeAndre Hopkins, one of the best receivers in the league, and you have Kyler Murray, who has all the caliber tools to be a great dual threat quarterback and a top 5 quarterback in this league. When you have an average head coach, everything drops. So I was right about this Arizona Cardinals team because they did the same thing last year when they started off 6-2. They started off 6-2 and missed the playoffs at 8-8. Luckily, they started off 7-0 this season, or you could have had a chance to miss the playoffs. So they went 11-6. It is what it is, but they got destroyed 34-11 on Monday night against your arch rival, the LA Rams, which a team you actually beat this season. And divisional games, I understand some divisional games aren't as close. You're supposed to know your divisional rival better than anyone else, right? Because you play them twice a year. Obviously, the Cardinals beat the Rams in the beginning of the season. The Rams beat them in their latest matchup before this wild card game. And you get destroyed, and you had 2 game tapes to look back at. You get destroyed 34-11 in this game. And I have a stat for you guys. The Cardinals had 8 straight drives having 0 first downs, a fumble, or interception. The last team to do that in the playoffs was the 1980 Oakland Raiders. And this was a team who had high hopes in the playoffs to be a Super Bowl team. That's unacceptable. I understand DeAndre Hopkins is missing, but one player shouldn't dictate how this offense is ran. 8 straight drives without a first down is unacceptable when you have Kyler Murray under center playing as your quarterback. When you still have A.J. Green running routes. When you still have Zach Ertz running routes and blocking as a great tight end. When you have James Conner and Chase Edmonds in the backfield. That's unacceptable. And that's why I say Cliff Kingsbury is still not a head coach to this day. But we'll save that for a different day. So then I'll go to the team that looked the best throughout the weekend. And the team that looked the best, there was a lot of great performances. There was a lot of great teams that did great things in those wins. But I'm going to have to say the Buffalo Bills looked the best on Saturday night against their opponent in the New England Patriots. Like I just said, you play a divisional team twice a year. You're supposed to know that team better than anybody. You're supposed to match up against that team better than anybody. You're supposed to know what that team's going to run better than almost what you're going to run. So, the coaching staff for the Bills outcoached the Patriots offensively and defensively on Saturday night. They crushed the Patriots 47-17. I thought this game was going to be a much closer game, but obviously it wasn't. The final score 47-17. Josh Allen, what a night he had. He had 5 touchdowns thrown, a total of 374 yards rushing and passing. And their offensive line dominated the Patriots' defensive line the entire game. I can't remember the stats off the top of my head, but I don't even think they had more than 2-3 sacks. The Patriots had sacking Josh Allen in that game. They had a picture-perfect offensive performance against the Patriots, who was ranked a top 5 defense in the league. And I said for a while they might have the best defense in the league. Obviously not anymore, but they still ranked as a top 5 defense heading into this game. During this game, the Bills did not have a 3-and-out to punt the ball, no interceptions thrown, no fumbles lost, no field goals attempted. That's remarkable against a Bill Belichick defense. You can't make that up. That's a picture perfect playoff game. That's a big time performance from Josh Allen. They scored a touchdown on every possession besides the end of the game when they brought in Mitchell Trubisky for 3 kneel downs to end the game. You scored a touchdown on every possession. Every time you touched the ball, you scored a touchdown. If you do that, you're showing the world why you could be a Super Bowl champion this year. I mean, I've seen teams do that, not score a touchdown every possession that I can remember from. But I've seen teams in playoff games where they score every time they touch the ball, whether it's a touchdown or field goal. But for you to score a touchdown on every possession that you get, every time you touch, the offense takes a snap on the field, has a drive on the field, ends up in a touchdown, that's pretty remarkable. And hats off to Josh Allen, hats off to this Buffalo's defense played lights out against Mac Jones. Mac Jones and that Patriots offense did not stand a chance either. So that was the best performance I've seen in a long time in the playoffs. To be honest, out of the great performances I've seen over the last few seasons, that was the best one to date. Josh Allen lining up this Patriots defense showed why he's worth $258 million. Point blank, period. You do that against Bill Belichick. Imagine what you could do against an Andy Reid. Imagine what you could do against a Bruce Arians team. Imagine what you could do against a Matt LaFleur team. The sky's the limit for the Bills. We'll see what happens this weekend when they play the Chiefs, but hey, I like their chances that they can knock off the Chiefs to get to the Super Bowl. Great performance by the Buffalo Bills.